Okay. All right. Hey, everyone. This is Kit Cabello with Hard Lens Media. Welcome to a short live stream. And this is just a continuation of a story that we've been working on here and we've been following up on, and that is the hashtag force a vote, hashtag withhold your vote. And I think it's very important we have this conversation about what it's. Oh my goodness, so on. That it's important that we actually have this conversation about Medicare for all and holding these politicians accountable. Now, I'm going to let this live stream just build up for a few more seconds so that we can build in a larger audience so that we can share at least some of the updates that's going on, especially with what happened yesterday with the hashtag force the vote and how it is gaining more and more of a following online, and more people are starting to speak out in the fact of holding our congressional congressmen and women accountable so that we can actually, maybe get a vote for Medicare for all on the floor. So let's effectively just, again, remember that in this country right now, our health insurance are tied to our jobs. So that means when someone loses their job, they lose their health insurance. They lose everything. And one bad day, you can lose your home, your car, your family, everything because of a medical ailment, because of a hospital bill. It is very real, and it only takes a few short seconds for it to happen. That's why, it's pretty tough for a lot of Americans right now. And with this pandemic, with this global pandemic that we're dealing with, it's shining a light on just how weak and inept America's healthcare system and its social safety nets truly are. So when someone like Jimmy Dore, who calls himself a pothead comedian, starts demanding more accountability from our politicians, he has been getting some pushback from some larger platforms. But my question is this: if what he is saying is so bad, well, where's your alternative? Where's your counter message? Because playing nice with these politicians, being friendly to these politicians, when for decades on end we've been suffering or waiting for them to follow through with their campaign promises, when we start saying, okay, we're going to hold your feet to the fire, there's been an automatic pushback. But Jimmy Dore has been getting more and more allies. And yesterday on his show, Dr. Cornel West was there with Jimmy Dore, and he was being interviewed as a guest commentator. And basically, Lorena Mills, Dr. Cornel West agrees with Jimmy Dore's message of hashtag force the vote, hashtag withhold the vote. And recently, right now, this has just been made breaking, but this is from the Movement for a People's Party. They made an announcement that they are joining the People's Party Advisory Council. That's Dr. Cornel West and Jimmy Dore. Together, we are launching a petition and organizing campaign, hashtag force the vote on Medicare for all. Add your name and share. And this is on Twitter. And the web link to go to is forcethevote.org. You can find that on the Movement for People's Party webpage or go to their Twitter account. It's actually pinned to their Twitter page at this moment. And again, it's called Withhold Your Vote for Pelosi. And basically, the article starts off like so. Representative Nancy Pelosi is running for her fourth term as Speaker of the House. We need new leadership. If she actually gave a damn. And again, just reading that first sentence. Representative Nancy Pelosi is running for her fourth term as Speaker of the House. The election is in the first week of January, and this time, because Democrats lost seat in the House and were left with a slim majority, she needs votes from congressional progressives to get reelected. So, Pelosi is refusing to bring Medicare for all to the floor of the House for a vote in the middle of a pandemic that has killed, sadly, now more. It's 300,000 plus Americans. It's just not 300,000. It's like, I think it's close now to 311,000 Americans have died from this horrific disease. This pandemic, this virus we need Medicare for all. Again, 300,000 plus Americans have died from it. The richest country in the world, we cannot take care of our people, but yet we can bail out the top 1% and give money to the military-industrial complex. Really says a lot about our politicians and their priorities. Voters sent progressives to Congress to fight for Medicare for all and is their fleeting moment of leverage. Established Democrats make demands of Pelosi for their votes, and so should progressives. That's what they should have been doing since day one. Wall Street makes demands of Pelosi for their support, and so should progressives. Again, Wall Street has a lot of power. To quote Senator Dick Durbin about the banks, they run this place. So it's not only just Wall Street, it's the banks, it's the corporations, it's the lobby groups. They own our politicians. Voters sent progressives to Congress to fight for Medicare for all, and this is their fleeting moment of leverage. Established Democrats make demands of Pelosi for their votes, and so should progressives. Wall Street makes demands of Pelosi for their support, and so should progressives. This is the worst health care crisis in a century, and millions have lost their employer-based coverage. 72% of Americans want Medicare for all, and every other major country on earth guarantees health care to all their people as a right. Now, again, 72% of Americans. That's including, oh, surprise, surprise, conservative voters, Republican voters, libertarian voters. And then let's just go to the left of the spectrum. Liberals, progressives, socialists, Greens, independents. A lot of American voters, not the politicians, not the ruling elite, agree that we need Medicare for all. This is becoming a major issue. The rest of the world has figured out how to take care of their people. So when Jimmy Dore says, hey, AOC, and everyone else that's part of the squad, we're going to hold your feet to the fire. Now's the time to use your leverage. Do it. Bernie Sanders, I hate to bring him up in this, but he had an opportunity and he lost it. This is a situation that's tailor-made for his message, and we need now, since Biden is now the president-elect, we need to ask our congressional progressive men and women who are in Congress to step up and do what Bernie Sanders could not do. And we need to use our leverage so we have at least the start of trying to get Medicare for all in this country. If things keep on going on this pathway, it will get really worse. And the Democratic leadership, they're really keen on losing. They had 230 seats, and now they're down to 219. So going on further into this article from the Moving for People's Party, that's on the hashtag Force the Vote. You can find that on their Twitter page. Democrats ran under the banner as healthcare is a human right, but it's easy to campaign on or sponsor legislation that will never come up for a vote. A vote on Medicare for all will prompt a national conversation on guaranteeing health care in the middle of a pandemic. It will show the country who really supports it, not just rhetorically, but in practice. Then we can hold our representatives accountable. Political comedian Jimmy Dore, Chicago's very own, launched the initiative, and NFL Chargers running back Justin Jackson kicked off a public discussion with AOC about it on Twitter. Many other movement figures have expressed support for the idea, including Aaron Mate, Brianna Joy Gray, Catelyn Johnstone, Dr. Cornel West, Graham Elwood, Katie Harper, Cristobal, Kyle Kalinske, Marianne Williamson, Max Blumenthal, Nick Brana, Nico House, Ron Placone, Ryan Knight, Sam Cedars, Steph Zermano, and Susan Sheridan. We put the squad and the House progressives in office to stand up to Nancy Pelosi, establishment Democrats, and the insurance corporations that fund them. This is a rare moment where Pelosi needs something from progressives. It could be years before we have another chance, and millions of people do not have that long. This country needs Medicare for all now. A floor vote is the absolute least we must demand. The progressive movement has shown huge support for this campaign, and we want to know, will you stand up to the Democratic Party leadership when we need it the most? Petitioning every member of Congress, of the Congressional Progressive Congress Caucus, and every Democrat who ran on Medicare for all, including Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Representative Ayanna Presley, Representative Barbara Lee, Representative Chuy Garcia, Representative Cori Bush, Representative Ilhan Omar, Representative Jamal Bowman, Representative Jamie Raskin, Representative Katie Porter, Representative Marie Newman, my congressional representative, Representative Mark Pochin, Representative Pramila Jayapal, Representative Rashid Tlaib, Representative Raul Gajewal, and Representative Ro Khanna. Again, these are the 15 major progressive leaders who actually ran on Medicare for all and other progressive policy issues, and we need to hold them accountable. Again, to find this link, you can go to the Moving for People's Party on Twitter. It's pinned right there where they make the announcement that also Cornel West and Jimmy Dore are joining the Moving for People's Party Advisory Council. We need to make this happen. And if we don't start fighting for Medicare for all, more people will get hurt. And I also want to read a live stream super chat. Shout out to Mitch Osborne. I think this is the most important counter to Benjamin Dixon's of the world. When is the next opportunity to get a floor vote? 2025, 2030? And sadly, Mitch, we don't have that long to wait. We have to do this now. Now, what do I mean by doing this now? We got to be smart in organizing and calling these politicians and holding them accountable. But if nothing is fundamentally started within the 2021 year, the 2022 midterm election cycle will be a slaughter for the Democrats. Right now, again, we have to remember, Joe Biden, throughout the entire campaign, especially during the general election cycle, mentioned not once, but 4 times that he would veto Medicare for all. The people need to get out there in mass. And that means also progressives talking to conservative voters too, who agree with Medicare for all. We need to hold all these politicians accountable. The system cannot last. Already, as we've mentioned before, 30 to 40 million Americans are at risk of being evicted from their homes. If they can't afford to stay in their homes, they can't afford to pay any kind of insurance, any kind of bills. There's already numerous reports about how average Americans now are shoplifting, not for material goods, but for food. They're going into stores to steal food. Shoplifting for food in the richest country in the world. We have a debt crisis here, and right now we need to have Medicare for all. We need a UBI, more stimulus checks at this point in time, because the system that we knew before 2020 cannot last. It was nothing but smoke and mirrors. And when you hear someone like Benjamin Dixon say, well, I've gone 10 years without health insurance, I could wait longer. Some Americans don't have that luxury. In fact, millions upon millions of Americans don't have that luxury. We need Medicare for all now. It is an important thing to do. We can't wait, because if we wait 2025, 2030, I dread to think of the aftermath of negligence and people unwilling to step up to do the right thing. And when we look at somebody like Nancy Pelosi, we have to come down to the conclusion of who she really is. She's been in politics for a very long time. And since she's gained more power, the Democrats have lost seats. The Democrats have lost numerous elections since Nancy Pelosi was in charge and since she's been the Speaker of the House. And now, of course, if she were to be elected again for her speakership role, the Democrats have a majority, but it's now a slim majority. Because remember, those 11 Democrats that lost their seats ran on being pragmatic, ran on being centrist, and they lost their seats to Republicans, including in California as well. We cannot forget the 25th Congressional District, where Cenk Uygur and numerous other Democrats were running for that seat, and the centrist candidate who was chosen, selected by the DCCC, lost. See, this is what happens when you don't have big ideas. And Jimmy Dore's idea is important. It's a big idea that we need to have now. If we don't address this crisis now, we're looking at so many people suffering because of inept leadership that doesn't have imagination. And Nancy Pelosi, since she's been in office for so long, if she actually gave a damn, we would have had something already. We would have had Medicare for all or more other progressive policies actually enacted. But she didn't. And you want to know why? Because the corporations and banks and Wall Street executives run Washington, D.C. They own our politicians, both in the Democratic establishment and in the Republican establishment. And the only way right now progressives, independents, and conservatives can really make a true impact, a true change, is by calling on the Progressive Caucus to withhold their vote for Nancy Pelosi, to use their political power. Already, AOC lost a key seat. When you play ball with the Democratic establishment, they're going to screw you over. When you play nice as the Democratic establishment, they're going to try and make you be more polite, be more kind. Remember, AOC, you ran on trying to upend the system, to change the system. You have an army of people, progressives, independents that are out there that will stand by your side if you take the initiative and rally your other 14 colleagues to withhold your vote for Nancy. We need new leadership. We need real change. And if you are unable to do this, there will be consequences, because in 2022, good luck to the Democratic establishment for convincing progressives or independents that they should vote for them for the midterm, because, oh no, the Republicans will take charge. Again, just a quick reminder to everyone, Trump isn't going to be prosecuted. He's walking out of office. That's it. He's not going to jail. He's not going to be tried for treason or anything else like that. He is not going to be prosecuted. So if you don't think that Trump or the Republicans are not going to punch back at the Democrats in 2022, then you're living in an alternate reality. The truth is the progressive movement has to make the change. And all those that are standing up against Jimmy Dore, I have to say this, what is your alternative? Because we tried to reform the Democratic Party from the inside. We have tried to be nice. We have tried to be polite. We've begged. We're done begging. Withhold your vote. And we need to sign this petition. Again, go to the Movement for People's Party on Twitter. It's the pinned tweet right there where it's forced to vote on Medicare for all. Sign your name. Let's make it happen. Let's kick this revolution into overdrive, because if we don't do this now, I don't know when the next opportunity will be. I just want to read two other super chats from Mona Mango Cream. Kit, Jackson Hinkle is organizing a force to vote sit-in D.C. in January. I will share the link in chat. It's very important to do this now. Again, look, we need to organize all progressive commentators, all independents. We need to organize on this and really, really make this thing trending so that we hold these congressmen and women accountable. We're asking them to withhold their vote for Nancy, because Nancy, at this point, what else is she going to do? She's in her 80s, and this isn't an ageist thing, but unless she's got a strong imagination to really help people, where is it at? Because she's already been laughing at the idea of helping working class citizens. Remember, there's a video of her laughing and saying, well, I am not going to support the stimulus checks because I wanted to hurt Trump. That's the reason why we didn't get our stimulus checks. It's because Nancy wanted to hurt Trump. Guess what? Trump doesn't care. Trump doesn't care about any of that. You didn't hurt Trump. You hurt working class families, because the Democrats have this weird idea that, oh no, because Trump put his name on the checks, or was trying to, or humoring the idea of putting his names on the checks, that it would have been bad. Americans right now don't care about whose name is on a check. They just care about right now having some income so they're not out on the street. Again, January 2nd, 30 to 40 million Americans are potentially at risk of being evicted from their homes. So many millions of Americans don't have health insurance right now. And again, when we hear stories about people recovering from this virus, they're walking out of hospitals with $100K or $1 million in medical debt. We don't have that kind of money. We don't have that time to wait. So yes, Jimmy Dore is correct. Hashtag force the vote. And Dr. Cornel West is standing in solidarity with him. And we must sign this petition. We must do this. And also, again, shout out to Mona, where Jackson Hinkle is organizing a force the vote sit-in. Now, she's sharing that link in the live stream chat. That will be available. And I think it's important that we do this as much as we can when we can. Also, another super chat from Mitch Osborne. Thank you so much. In Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez interview, where she said Nancy needs to go, where was she when Sahid Buttar was running? Didn't even drop his name for next run. That is true. And Sahid Buttar, we've interviewed him on our show. I believe he would have been a far more qualified individual to be in office. Sadly, his campaign was torpedoed by the corporate media and the DCCC, because we can't forget that the DCCC made it their initiative to support all incumbents. How'd that work? Oh, right, they lost their majority. They're now down to 219 seats. Also, we got another super chat from Gordon Osterhage. Keep it up. Thank you so much. We do appreciate the super chats, and I think it's very important that we, again, continue forward. Now, I know there's a lot of back and forth on Twitter between a lot of progressive commentators, especially those that have been critical towards Jimmy. But I must say this. What is the alternative? I have to repeat this again in the live stream video. What is the alternative? Because we can't play nice anymore. We can't just be friendly anymore. Where has that gotten us? Nothing. And now that Biden is the president-elect and will be sworn in very soon, we need to create a political environment where he cannot ignore us. Yeah, he's putting a lot of corporatists in there, but we need to start taking control of the Congress, the Senate, and the House, progressives, independents, and yes, even conservatives, because we all agree on the same issues. They're becoming very popular. Universal basic income. Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard ran on that. Not a dumb idea anymore, now is it? It's important because the rest of the world is giving their people stimulus checks or universal basic income, something of that nature. Medicare for all. Bernie Sanders was touted in 2016 and 2020. Not a dumb idea anymore because, oh, wait, the rest of the world is providing their citizens with health care. We must be better. And we need to start pushing forward with our demands. And that means even holding politicians that we respect, we admire, we hero worship, accountable. Because we cannot hero worship these individuals. So again, final note on this. Go to Twitter. Go to the Movement for People's Party. It's a pinned tweet. Force a vote on Medicare for all. Check out as well as, I want to just get that name correct as well. Jackson Hinkle, check him out as well. He's doing a force a vote sit-in. No matter what, all of us in our own way, needs to step up. And that means sharing it on social media. If you can't join the sit-in, I understand that. Help sign the petition. We need the force to vote. And if any of you are, if you are represented by any of the 15 Congress men or women that are in this list, call up their office. Ask them to, force a vote for Nancy. Put Medicare for all on the congressional floor for a vote. It must happen now. If we don't do this now, we're going to be regretting it. And finally, I want to read a last super chat from Ecuadorian Taco 27. Time to tea party up this brunch, progressives. Exactly. I agree. We're done with brunch. Everyone's done celebrating. The orange man is gone. He's not going to be prosecuted, but you're living in an alternate reality if you don't think him or the GOP are going to come back with a vengeance in 2022. If the Democrats really want to gain seats in the Senate and House and even at various state level ships, you're going to have to start acting. And that means challenging people like Nancy or Chucky Boy Schumer and even Joe Biden. You have to start pushing back at these career politicians. They don't have the imagination. And if they do want to help, they probably don't know how to do it. So we got to force them to do it. We got to make them uncomfortable. We got to let them know that they are public servants, not the other way around. With that being said, I want to thank all of you for joining us. I really do appreciate all of your support for Hard Lens Media. If you want to check us out, we're live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check out our Rockfin channel as well. We're live on there every Monday and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we also have our fun channel, Chicago Reacts. Be sure to subscribe to that. Follow us on Twitter, Hard Lens Media. And check out our Discord page when you get the chance. I want to thank the wonderful, incredible Mona Carmona for moderating the live stream chat. All of you have been awesome as well. With that being said, I'm Kit Cabello, the host of Hard Lens Media. Peace to you guys, and let us all do what we can to build a better future.